With us today is Molly, a fourth-year business student looking to get ahead. Welcome to the show, Molly.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So great, because you're so young. You've got a whole future ahead of you, yet here you are wanting to ask some tips to make sure that you've got your future mapped out right and you're going to be financially secure.
Exactly, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so like you said, I'm a fourth-year student in the Gustavon School of Business at UVic. And I'm working for an awesome company this summer called Purpose Social as a project manager.
Great.
Yeah.
And what does that entail?
It's going to be a lot of organizing. It's a tech company, so a lot of organizing between different teams and some client relations and things like that.
Is this what you're going to do later in life?
I have no idea. It could be. I'm not too sure exactly what I want to do.
You mean you don't have it all figured out already?
Not even close. Yeah.
You're not alone, so don't worry about that.
Thank you.
What do you love doing? What gets you excited?
In school or just in life?
In life.
In life? I love spending time with my friends and family. I love being outdoors. I love things like hiking. And I recently went skydiving, which could be my new favorite activity, I think.
Wow. So there could be a skydiving instructor at some point.
Maybe.
What's your favorite courses at school?
This year I loved my international business class. I also surprisingly liked my finance class, and I'm not just saying that.
Oh, you may have a little number nerd in you too.
Oh, a little bit here and there, yeah. I really liked it because it was applicable to real life, so I was learning things that I felt like I could actually take into the real world and apply.
That's really what finance is about, and I think ever since we're little kids, we're always told that math is hard.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. Most of the math that we need is plus, minus, maybe a little bit of multiplication and division, but we don't need calculus.
Well, maybe.
So when you do the things that you like, it's a lot easier.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, were you born in Canada?
So I was born in Victoria, yes. Yeah.
And how about your parents?
Yeah, so my mom was born in Victoria, yes. And then my dad actually was born in Croatia in Europe.
Great. So does that open any opportunities for you?
It does, yeah. So I recently got the opportunity to become a dual citizen. So I get to live and work in Europe when I graduate, which is pretty awesome.
Now, is that something you think you might like to do?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I love Europe, and I'm actually, my program is very heavily focused on international studies, so I'm going to be going to do a semester abroad in Austria, so I leave in September.
Now, how are you funding all this currently?
That's a great question. Quite largely through student loans, both like a student line of credit and then also BC student loans.
Are you living at home while you're going to school?
Currently I'm living at home, yeah, but I have moved out many times in the past, maybe for a summer job, or to a new city, or yeah, a couple times with my friends as well.
Okay, so how is it when you move out and then you move back?
I mean, I have the most amazing parents, but it's definitely hard to be living at home for sure. Yeah.
Well, I think once you get a taste of your own independence, you want to do it on your own. When you live at home, do your parents charge you room and board?
No, they don't, which is awesome.
Okay, so that is a plus. It's worth, and you've got great parents, like you said, so it's not so bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's your big question for me today?
Yeah, so my big question for you is, how do I borrow the least amount of money for the rest of my degree, pay it back as quickly as I can, and also, how do I do all this while still being able to do the things I love, like traveling or going to Europe for my fall semester? So how do I keep living the life that I love?
So you just want an endless amount of money that can pay for absolutely everything.
That would be great.
Yeah. Well, I may have some tips for you to try and get the best of everything.
Perfect.
So don't go away. Learn the secret to eliminating student debt when we return.
The Wealthy Life is brought to you by investment dealer Raymond James. Life well planned. See what a Raymond James advisor can do for you.
Welcome back. We're here to help Molly eliminate her student debt. And more than just that, it sounds like you want to spend more money now, borrow less, pay it off quicker. You want your cake and eat it too.
If you could help me with that, that'd be great.
Well, you know what? You don't get if you don't ask. So let's just see what we can accomplish.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about some of the expenses you have right now. Like, what does tuition and books cost?
Yeah, so tuition, actually business school happens to be a little bit more expensive than all the other programs at UVic.
That's because they produce the smartest students?
Exactly, something like that. No, we have awesome facilities and things that contribute to that.
Great.
But yeah, so it's a 50% more expensive, so it actually ends up costing around $11,000 for 1 year.
Wow, just for the tuition, or is that including your books?
No, not including books. So books, if you get them used or not used, they can range, I would say I probably spent around $1,000 on books this year as well.
Well, I guess the good news is you're getting your education done now, because a recent study showed that the average cost of education is expected to increase 2.5% higher than the rate of inflation every year for the next 20 years. So I think it's going to get more and more expensive as we move forward.
That's crazy.
So get it done.
Yeah.
What are some of the other expenses? You're living at home, so that's fine.
Yes, that's awesome.
If you move back out on your own, what do you need a month to live?
Well, lots of things. Like even just right now, not living at home, I pay for car insurance, cell phone bill, interest on my student loan, food, and then
now, do you have expensive taste when it comes to food?
Sometimes, but I won't lie, I do tend to eat a lot of ramen noodles like the typical student. Yeah.
Now, is that because you like them or because they're cheap?
The latter.
Okay, so that's not so bad. You can move past that.
Yeah.
You want to travel, you want to do an international exchange.
Exactly.
So we need to have some funding for that.
Definitely.
In the summer months when you're not at school, what are you doing with your time?
I'm always working, yeah. So this year I'm working for the company Purpose Social, but in the past I've done a lot of serving and bartending jobs, things like
And
that.
are you able to save some of your earnings during this?
In the summer I try and make as much money as possible, and then sometimes I do work during the school year. It just depends how demanding my classes are going to be. I find it's kind of like a give or take sometimes with grades or working.
Yeah, so it's a big juggle to try and fit both in. You can't do great at school and then work full time at the same time. It's impossible.
It's pretty
How
hard.
important are grades to you?
Grades are very important to me, yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
So is it more important for you to not work while you're going to school to do well?
Well, see, interestingly you'd ask that. This year is the first year I chose not to work while going into school, and strictly because I finally found what I wanted to do in school, which was the business program, and it is quite demanding, especially in your third core year. So in first semester, I was taking technically 7 classes. So
Wow, so that's a heavy workload.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Well, I always ask people that question because nobody usually asks for your transcripts when you apply for a job.
Yeah.
And as much as you want to do great and get straight A's or close to it while you're at school, I always ask students to think twice about that. Do great, but if it means not working in order to get straight A's, is that going to put you any further ahead later in life? Or can you do well and get a great B plus average with a lot less work? Now, parents everywhere are going to hate me for saying that, but when it comes to finances, it's about choices, and you've got to balance it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, I want to give you a few tips,
Yes,
and
please.
some of them you're already doing. So number one, you want to borrow as little as you possibly can while going to school. Don't take on huge debt if you can avoid it. And so some ways you're going to be able to do that is live at home. If you can, you're getting free room and board. That way you won't have to borrow as much. Save as much as you can while you're working. That's another tip. And look at scholarships, awards, and bursaries. This is the most untapped money central for students. There are websites everywhere. The colleges and universities have them. A lot of employers have them. And you don't have to get great grades necessarily. You just want to be able to apply online, and you can get lots of free money to help pay for your education. And the last tip is with student loans, is you want to make sure you keep your interest rates low and pay them off as quick as you can. So make sure you get a job when you're done so you can just get that out of the way.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Helpful stuff?
Very much.
Great. Well, I wish you all the best, Molly, and I thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
And stay tuned, because Investing 101 is up next. Find out what you should know to increase your net worth.